Cool. Thank you so much for joining me. And today I've got a very, very special guest, Triona Sheeran from Dublin in Ireland. And she's the only level 3 in Ireland. So if you're lucky enough to get a session booked in with her, well, then you'll be in great hands. Now, Triona, you've had thousands of QHHT experiences. So feel free to share whatever you feel you want to share with the world.
Ooh, so no, there's some incredible ones, some really interesting ones. And actually for me, thank you, John, as well. Thank you for having me. So lovely to
Pleasure.
connect in with Australia. um, some really, really funny ones. But you know what I find the funniest, really, truly do, is when the SC is so completely different than the personality of the person. So I had this really lovely lady. She must have been in her early 80s, you know, very typical, the beautiful kind of permed hair and the lovely pearls. She was so well to do. And she'd come because she said, quite frankly, I'm towards the end of my life now. And she goes, no, 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 I won't hear of it. I know I am. I know I am. I feel it. And I was just like, okay. And she said, and I just want to see, you know, what's waiting for me after, see if there's anything there my higher self wants to say to me. Lovely. I mean, isn't that just absolutely incredible? 82, 83-year-old woman coming in. Yeah, absolutely lovely. And she went so easily and so quickly, but she was very, very demure. Very demure. And during the session, she went to, I believe, a past life experience, which were all fine, ticking the box. And then when we connected with the SC, it was so masculine. Even the voice was nearly so masculine. Very, very different. It was cursing as well. And even though the SC normally wouldn't, you know, curse and things like that, I feel it was bringing in a side of her that it wanted to let go, and a side of her that wanted to show complete contrast to her conscious mind, because it was so different. And it did explain later when I said, oh, it's just very unusual, you know, to hear the cursing subconscious, what's going on. And it said, because we want her to see that it's okay, we want her to see that she can do it. But what was really funny, it gave me graphic details of her entire sex life to date. It was absolutely hilarious. I was blushing sitting there. And I was just thinking, thank God this isn't being video recorded. Can you imagine? So this is this is a real reason sometimes I always consider it's not great to do a live streamed hypnosis session. You just don't know where they're going to go. So they're giving me intimate details about when she was in her early 20s, and she had a jaunt, that's what they called it, a little jaunt with somebody who managed the stables, and she was having sex in the stables. Graphic detail. Continued to go on to say how she got pregnant with her first child, and the conception was after a very drunken night in the middle of the stairs. It was, I mean, I'm not a prude, and it was enough to make me blush. And then after the session, she was so lovely and fixed her pearls and, you know, just coiffed her hair. And I was still a little bit shocked, a little bit surprised. It was such a contrast to her. And I was like, so, and she goes, did I go there? Did I connect? She couldn't remember a single thing. And I said, oh, you did. Absolutely. You really did. So I started playing back some of it, and she said, oh my gosh. Though to this day, she thinks she was possessed, and it was the possession that was coming in talking to her. But actually, the SC explained it really, really well. It just said she's had to live a very kind of certain persona, and I kept thinking almost regal, like the Queen in England. And it just wanted to give her, before she, you know, went to the end of her years in life, it wanted to give her like freedom to go. Beep, beep. Yeah. And not going to curse. Irish, I know they're cursing. And you know, to get it all out and to express. And also she was feeling a little bit kind of jaded in life, I suppose. And I wanted to remind her of what it was like to be free and single in her early 20s. But
fun.
absolutely hilarious. In when I was doing one of my level 3 videos, because that's videoed as well, you have to video it, and the client was saying something and I was looking at the video going like, so tell me more, right? Very interesting. That's really, yeah. Go deeper, because yourself, sometimes you just don't know where they are and you have to just keep going to get the bigger picture. No, they can go to a place of color, and that could be nighttime, it could be daytime, it could be another planet, it could be a vortex, it could be
energy, it could be anything.
Yeah. So, really interesting. Keep going. I had one that went into an eyeball, and she's like, I'm in an eyeball. And I was just like,
yes.
As it turns out, the eyeball was like an alternative dimension off the top of my head, I think, or lots of weird and wonderful places out there.
Yes, I've had maybe 3 or 4 clients that have gone either into eyeballs or through eyeballs, and they've actually been portals.
Oh, yes. I think she did go through it and go through somewhere else. And what's really interesting is our perception of it, so what we think of it, and then our perception of it. I always find that really, really cool. Another interesting one is, intuitively in the interview, I got a sense of a lady that she was going to have another baby, and I just kind of felt that. And I said, do you have any interest in another child? And she goes, oh God, no, in a million years, absolutely not. And I said, oh, will we ask? Oh, sure, why not? It's a no, but yeah, sure, why not? And then she had a lovely session. She went really deep, slipped right into the higher self, subconscious. And I asked, so is there another child there for X and Y? Absolutely. There'll be another boy, 18 months time. Absolutely. And I said, so you just can confirm that for me, that there will be another child? Absolutely, there will be the child. And I said, okay. And then during the interview, after the closing interview, she's like, yeah, no, it was wonderful. I just don't know if it was me talking. And I said, well, of course it was you, because your higher self and your subconscious is you, but you mean consciously talking. She goes, yeah. So I played back that little bit of the audio for her and said, so if it was you and you said you weren't having another child, then why did you say you could? She was absolutely shocked. She went, why did it go? She goes, oh, I can't remember saying that at all. Oh my God. She did want to have another child as well.
Yes.
Within 18 months to the day, I think. So it's so precise and it's so amazing, the SE, but it could be so funny. Like the personalities can be so serious and it can be so funny as well. Oh, I always think it's really interesting that often it's complete contrast to the other person. I'm like going, I don't ever want to hear from mine. It's like, work harder, stop playing around, life is too serious. I'm like, are you kidding me? And for me, it's the complete polar opposite, So I warn people in advance before I have any session. I say, I'm really sorry. I'm apologizing in advance. My SC is really cranky. In my experience, quite often, like other people communicate as well, like guides communicate or collective energies or whoever communicate, and it changes from we want to tell her, I want to tell her, she needs to know, we are communicating with her, and the voice changes often as well. The voice, the tone, the pitch, the language can change. Yeah, I had somebody channel in a language I had no idea what it was. She was English, like Irish, English speaking. And all I could do is go, thank you. Okay, tell me more. Because obviously it was channeling in this ancient language. It was like really cool, right? So I had a translator just interpret 1 or 2 words, and it's ancient Arabic.
Like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
How amazing.
There's been some really incredible stories, actually, really incredible. But that is so cool. But it's pretty funny just watching the practitioner, in this case me, just like pretending like this is everyday occurrence to me in my everyday life, where I hear language that's ancient Arabic, or some people channel in light language, like beep up, beep up, beep up.
Yes.
And then sometimes I was thinking, thank God this isn't videoed. Can you imagine the world? Because I had, I think, I do believe it was a lady a few years ago, and she started channeling in what I maybe analytically think could be light language, but it was like really beep up, beep up, beep. And I was just like, okay, can you communicate in English so I can understand? Beep up, beep up. Okay, I don't know what that means. Can you communicate in English? Beep up. And then I went, okay, beep up. And then I went, beep up, beep up, beep up. Oh, okay. So beep up. So I was copying what I was saying back, and it was absolutely amazing. And then in the end, I did get some collective saying she needed to download the language. It was really important for her to receive it all. She's writing a book now, actually, on light language, so really interesting. But after, she was like going, what was that? And I'm like going, I don't know. So it's just so interesting. And every session is just so mad different.
I had one client in here, and she was actually teaching light language. She had all the knowledge of all the different light languages, and she was a tutor in there, and she was teaching the energies so that they would want to come to her and learn a specific language, and she would teach them. Oh, it was amazing. Just so much information. That's why I love this stuff. I just love it.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I love hypnosis because the information you can get when you bypass that conscious mind, like, and I really believe all the information is there for all of us, like it's in the brain, because that's what regression is. Like, regression isn't in the now. Regression is about going back or going forward to get the information. So what I always find really interesting is it's completely different when you're regressing back, maybe life between lives or another planet or healing or past life. But then when they're channeling, which QHHT is broken into regression and in the now, when they're channeling in the now, it's just completely different. The energy is different, the tone is different, the voice is different. And for me, it's almost never that the voice is the same or quite the same as in the regression and then in the channeling. Do you find it the same?
No, it's a different energy. That's why. So it comes through differently.
I have a cold. I've been sick for a few weeks now. I have a bit of a cold, and it's the universe or my higher self saying, just get on with your paperwork. To grinding me down to get on with all my stacks of paperwork. But I had a client a few weeks ago when I was just starting to get this kind of cold, and oh my God, he was honestly the nicest man you could meet. Lovely family man, adored his family, wouldn't look twice at another woman. He was actually here for a medical condition that for physical healing, basically. And the SC started saying that, so I was like, oh, why did he kind of struggle going from there to there? Can you tell me more about that, please? And it was saying, oh, he just got very distracted with your sexy voice at the moment, because it's kind of really husky, and he's just getting very distracted. It's just like, thank you. And then after, he was mortified. He was just like, I can't believe, don't tell my wife, honestly, I would never. And I'm like, I completely understand, no problem. So there's no secrets in the SC. There's none.
The SC knows people better than the people know themselves.
That's
totally.
it. So if you're going for a session, like, you'd really want to trust the person, because honestly, there is no secrets, and anything and everything that needs to come out will certainly come out.
Definitely. That's the biggest thing is, as a client, just put all your trust into the facilitator, because it doesn't go outside the office. So everything's confidential.
I'm saying that I have had permission from each of the clients to talk about these stories. That's
Yes.
why, yeah, on that note, actually, I had another one. This must be at least 3 years ago or 4 years ago. That was quite funny. We were doing the body scan, which is usually very typical in QHHT. And the client started kissing her breasts in the session, started kissing them both and feeling and fondling them. And it was so distracting. So even I was like, okay, should I be looking? Should I not be looking? What the hell is going on? And then after the body scan, when I started asking the SE, oh, so can you tell me a bit about the fondling and what was the fondling about? And then the SE is going, she needed to know she's perfect just the way she is. Lots of love. So funny. It really is. Actually, some of the
Totally.
sessions, like a lot of the sessions are very, very serious, but a lot of them are just so hilariously funny. And the different levels of communication or the different kind of energies that can come in and communicate, they do have a different tone, sometimes a different male or female voice, and all of that. And yeah, and it can be really, really amazing, really incredible to hear. A client actually just a few weeks ago said in the session it was very discombobulating for X and Y at the moment that this situation is happening. And I said, right, okay. And then after they said, I remember being there. I remember what was said. And they said it's almost like I was listening to it, it's like an observer listening to it. I said, yeah, that's absolutely perfect, that's wonderful. And then they said, but what does discombobulation mean? So so I just had a giggle after the session saying, oh, this is what it means. But the words that they use, sometimes I'm like going, what the hell does that mean? Thank you. So, and then you're there with the thesaurus after going, oh, that's what that means. Wow. Who would ever use that in everyday language? I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. And if anybody wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Website Triona Sheeran. It's being done up. Yeah, it's a brand new one coming, but TrionaSheeran.com, www.TrionaSheeran.com. Pop me an email, Facebook, Triona Sheeran public page. Yeah, I like to run lots of free events all the time. And thank you, John. I just so love connecting in with all the Australians. The accent is fab. Absolutely lovely to connect in with you. And I really appreciate the short chat today about some of the more interesting and fun QHHT, the lighter sessions, should I say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.